Welcome to METV's series on planning for college. I'm Robin Groelle, and it's my pleasure to host these programs designed to assist students and families with a transition to college. Our programs will bring to you a number of guest speakers who will share their expert advice on finding the right college for you, preparing for college, getting into college, paying for college, and tips for succeeding once you get there. For nearly 30 years, I've had the privilege of counseling students and their parents through the college admissions process. Taking rigorous courses, doing well in them, and succeeding in scoring your best on the SAT and ACT are hallmarks for success in college admissions. However, what students do in their free time will often be more accurate indicators of their character. This is the time that will reveal what a person truly values and what they enjoy the most. Colleges are seeking not only good students, but also good campus citizens. Building a resume of accomplishment and commitment outside the classroom will provide for the admissions committee an understanding of what the applicant will contribute. Many students find their passion and interests and talents in out-of-class activities through performing in fine arts, sports, travel, science research, job training and employment, and increasingly, volunteer service. With the upcoming changes in the Florida Bright Futures Scholarship, which includes now a requirement of community service for all levels, we have chosen to focus today's segment on community service opportunities for area teenagers. My guests today are Laura Tripp. She is the Associate Director of Hands-On Manatee. Laura is a Manatee High School graduate. She's also attended MTI, State College of Florida, and the University of South Florida. She describes herself as a forever student. She has also founded, since 1994, has been working with Manateens. Our other guest today is Rachel Dawson. And Rachel is a 2009 Southeast graduate, and then she's gone off to the University of Miami, and she is now a sophomore, will be a rising sophomore there at the University of Miami. She's majoring in psychology, and while she's at the university, she is a member of the 1 in a Million, which is a community service organization of students who are interested in pre-med and community service. Rachel is here to share with us some of the experiences that she has had as the former chair of the Red Cross Youth Corps here in Manatee County. So welcome, both of you.
Thank you for having us.
I'd like to start off, if we could, with Laura, to talk to us a little bit about her journey, her personal journey with community service and what she is doing today.
Luckily when I was I grew up in a family that was dedicated to service and always involved in volunteering on the weekends. And so at a young age, about 12 or 13, I started thinking about how I could engage my friends to come with me to volunteer. And approaching school agencies and opportunities and clubs and other civic organizations, we approached the Volunteer Center, who did not have a teen program at the time, but was very actively willing to talk about it and to start that conversation and starting one. So my sister and I, in 1994, developed the Manateen Club, which is still in existence today at the Volunteer Center, focusing solely on youth-led opportunities and opportunities where youth can grow and be engaged. Our mission is to mobilize youth and resources to identify and address community needs through volunteerism, which is the most important, but also through leadership and voice, finding their passion. So now we're 16 years old here in Manatee County, and we we partner with about 400 local not-for-profit agencies that request teen volunteers on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. But we also host our own service programs and service projects through our agency, the Volunteer Center.
And Rachel, I know that you started your community service involvement at a relatively young age. So could you share with us a little bit about your work with Red Cross?
Sure. I actually started when I was in 7th grade. I was just a member. I was doing the different activities we do, teaching elementary age kids about basic aid, like taking care of a wound and preparing for natural disasters like hurricanes, very common in Florida. And from there, I kept with it all throughout my senior year and staying with those same programs, working with our disaster camp in the summer, training teens, high school age people, how to prepare for a disaster and actually work in shelters.
I know that Laura and I have met a couple of times, and in my work with helping students think a little bit about who they are and what attributes that they have that they would like to pursue, not just in their high school experience, but beyond college and perhaps beyond, and make it a lifetime commitment to find things that are meaningful to them. And having an opportunity to work outside your comfort zone, in a sense, and get to know the community in ways that you might not otherwise be exposed to is something I think most young people are interested in doing, but they just don't know how to go about it. I think that if it's a mantra in your family, if you have parents that volunteer, as I did. My mom was a volunteer with the Red Cross. And my dad, as I mentioned to you before, was working with YMCA. And so we were, as a family, well connected to nonprofit organizations in our community. And there are, I'm sure, many of those that are watching have that connection as well. But now with, I think that with college admissions, where young people are trying to develop a sense of resume that will be well received by the admissions people who are reading their applications. They certainly are looking for grades, rigorous courses. I know, Rachel, you're a relatively recent graduate at Southeast, and you were part of their IB program.
Yes, ma'am.
So you must have taken the charge to take some of the more difficult classes to challenge yourself academically. And that has opened doors for you, I'm sure, in college, in a sense of you just finished your freshman year. So how did that go this year?
Actually, I've just finished my sophomore year. I'm going into my junior year. But both years have been tough experiences. It's a very good school, but IB program definitely prepared me for it with the coursework that I was required in school and also out of school with their volunteer requirements. A lot of time was spent out of the classroom at my various volunteer opportunities, learning about myself and learning what I would like to do in my college career. And that has directed a lot of the courses I have taken as well.
Mm-hmm. I think that community service, as well as employment, opportunities to work outside the home to get a sense as to how you communicate with others, whether or not leadership is something that comes naturally to you or you need to learn along the way, and get some vision as to what kinds of work a person might want to be doing after college. I think can really help a person with their career plans. I know that in conversations with families, many times parents are hopeful that their child will have a sense of what they want to major in college, and it's very difficult to have a sense about that unless it's a calling in high school. You sort of like take a class and you really enjoy it, but otherwise it's kind of an exposure opportunity, and the community service, I think, offers that to students, so that initially when someone says service, it's a sense of giving, but I think it's always interesting to see what one receives. And often in looking at the application process, there'll be questions. I know that, Laura, you have worked with many students with scholarship applications which relate to their community service, and being able to articulate what it is they found valuable in ways that can be picked up in the admissions committee, that this is something that will add to our student body. So this is a person that will go beyond the starting line of the great grades and perhaps the SAT scores or ACT scores that fall in the range that they're looking for. But what else about that student that will bring a sense of commitment and contribution to the community that they go to? Rachel, with your work with the Red Cross, did you have a knowledge that you were sort of interested in medical science prior to your experience with the Red Cross?
Yes, my father is actually a gastroenterologist in the area. And from him, similar family experience, he does a lot of pro bono work in the area. And it really brought a sense of community to me, too, that I would like to reach out and help people. Red Cross, I went there and I started helping children learn about what to do. And it kind of became like a calling. I love being out there helping people learn what to do if there's the case of a natural disaster, or helping other teens know what to do to help other people.
Laura, you've worked with many young people who have come to you, and I guess they have an interest in starting, but they don't know how to start or what kinds of community involvement would best suit them. How do you help people figure that out?
You know, we really try to engage every individual Manateen personally, and it's very hard to do that sometimes. We do have a membership of about 4,000 in our community, and solely in Manatee County. So we have different streams of service and different individuals who are decide how involved they want to be. We're a resource for volunteering opportunities and experiences. And we communicate with our families and our teenagers on a weekly basis. But then we also offer opportunities for those who have a calling or have that passion and just don't know exactly where to use it and how to best find that connection. And that's what makes my job so much fun, is I get to meet these teens who are so passionate and enthusiastic about service or about an individual need in their community, and they really, really want to reach out. And that's my job, is to help them find resources, find connection, and collaborate with other agencies in our community so they can get involved in service, get that number that they're looking for that's going to help them in the scholarship process, but to grow as an individual too, and to learn a marketable skill and to be able to use that in the future, and to maybe even be another community leader, and that can engage more young people. So that's what Manateens really tries to focus on, is we don't only do volunteering opportunities, but we really try to find leadership and places where you can really express your concerns and your opinions and have those needs addressed.
Mm-hmm. Could you share with us some specific examples of service and volunteer opportunities that some of the students who come to Manateens would like to do?
One of our biggest focuses, especially during the summer months, is of course disaster preparedness. It's so important for teens to not only prepare themselves for the event of a disaster, but to prepare their families and their friends and their neighbors. So it's something that we really try to focus on during the summers. We also focus on environmental projects, things that big families can get involved in and teens can get involved in, those who are most passionate about the environment. We focus on 5 different streams of service: animal welfare, environment, disaster preparedness, health and human services, and technology. So all of our streams of service, we partner with agencies that fall under those brackets, and we also develop our own programs and events where teens can get involved in that. So if they're particularly interested in working with a senior citizen, that's one of our biggest goals here, is to bridge the generation gap that's in Manatee County and give teens that opportunity to have that connection with an older person through several different projects. And so it kind of depends on what the teen's looking for. If they want to just go to an episodic event, like a community event, and host a children's game or face paint, we have hundreds of those, and those are always very common and very useful to the agencies that are requesting it. But if they really, really want to get involved and hold that leadership position and go that extra step, that is going to help them translate and reflect those experiences onto a scholarship application. We have all different kinds of meetings and councils and events where they can just come, and we just have a big powwow and we talk about how we can make it happen for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's what's most important when you have those scholarship applications, even going into college, applying for jobs, is they're all looking for a commitment. Wherever you go, they want to see that you've been one place, you've stuck with them, and you have made some sort of a difference in that organization.
Absolutely.
I think it means more to people too. If you have something that you decide that you like, and sometimes it takes some exploring. I don't know if you have young people that come to you, let's say as ninth graders, and they recognize they have to start logging in those hours, and there's a process for doing that. Is that correct?
There is definitely a process for logging your hours. There's hundreds of different ways to do it. We try to be a free resource to teens who might not have a connection through their school or through another agency to help them document those service hours. We'll do that for them and communicate to their schools. But that is the most important thing, is developing a relationship with their guidance counselor or their advisor at their school and making sure that their service hours reflect onto their transcripts. We help them get the hours, but it's another process to make sure they're documented properly. And we have several different ways of doing that. And every scholarship requires something different. So you kind of have to go all the different streams and make sure that you're documenting everything properly. Something that, was brought up in the past is making sure that those agencies that you're so committed to and that you've volunteered for, having them write you a letter of recommendation and keeping all of those things on file is very important.
I think that back to like the ninth grader maybe that's starting out, and I don't know how old students generally are that contact you at Manateens, but many times I think students who are starting something new, they might do a walkathon, or they might show up at one of those events that you indicated that need a number of water people or someone helping with organization, or they might get involved in something through their Key Club and do a couple different activities there before they actually find the thing that fits them. It sounds like you were lucky, Rachel, because you started off at the Red Cross and it just seemed to click.
Yep, I stayed there for all those years, but there are other organizations I was involved with as well. One of them was Moat Marine. I was a high school intern there for 3 years. And that was just something, I did my research on the internet. I started kind of thinking, okay, well, I like the ocean and I like being conservative about our resources on this earth. So I just kind of researched the different areas and found, hey, that was an opportunity for me. And I just kept doing that and finding other places I could volunteer, like teen hospice. And I just kept going.
Seems like you got the bug right away for community service, that sense of contribution and also calling to participate.
Exactly.
I think there's a sense of confidence, growing self-esteem that happens when someone recognizes they have something of value that they've given to someone else and that it's been appreciated. And I know that just locally, one of the populations that are most appreciative are the elderly. Many of our citizens locally live in caring facilities. They're not able to get out and participate in a larger venue of folks. And so they see, a lot of the same familiar faces. And to have a young person come in and play the violin or to sit and listen to them, I think that was something you mentioned to me, is listening.
Listening, a lot of times what they would like, especially in hospice, they tell the best stories. And you learn so much from them as they're talking to you, you're talking to them. A lot that helps you grow personally. And one of the other things that we did with Red Cross was something called the Touch program, where we'd actually go to Freedom Village Nursing Home, and it was a lot of times with the Alzheimer's patients. We'd play music from their era when they were younger, and just things to keep them active, like we'd dance with them, throw balls, and just talking, having a lot of fun. Because they really do, they appreciate it so much, just seeing people there.
Another population that I think about locally that where community service, I think, and engagement would help us as a city, as a town, are those that come to us who may only speak Spanish. And they're looking to learn English, to engage in the community, to be able to branch out beyond the community that they are connected to. And Spanish, I know, is probably the most popular of the foreign languages that are taught within our schools. And it's probably very important for as many people as possible to consider becoming at least able to communicate in Spanish, if not fluent. Most colleges today are looking for 3 or 4 years of foreign language, although 2 is a requirement for our state system here. So it's a good foundation for language skill. And I would think, I don't know if you have any community service opportunities
Absolutely.
that would maybe engage someone's learning budding skills in Spanish? as well as?
Absolutely. There's always opportunities. Helping agencies, and this is a technology opportunity really. These are for teens who might not be comfortable volunteering in large groups or is not quite sure they want to get started on a smaller level. They can help translate materials, and that's always a common need. And with agencies now being low-staffed and having to simplify everything they do, they really need that extra resource. Well, a lot of our teens are taking on, translating brochures for Spanish or all of those kind of things. Those things they can do from home and use their computer skills and their language skills to help an agency get further into the community. And I think that's a very important thing. So we always try to think of ways that can benefit. We also, we focus on getting teens together. And if they could use that resource from another peer that can help, a study buddy kind of thing, that's important to us too. That's what we want to cultivate and bring out of them.
You had the different agencies, you'd mentioned there are a number.
There's a number.
And the variety is amazing. I mean,
every day is something different. I get requests across my desk every day, and I get so excited to post them because sometimes they're really, really interesting opportunities and ways that I know I can speak to different youth out there who might not see something in our newsletters that particularly speak to them. I just had an opportunity run across my desk where they need help as sports coaches and helping scorekeep and maintenance and teaching young people in certain variety of sports. I love posting things like that because I might have a teen that joined 6 weeks ago and still hasn't found anything that they particularly gets them up and out. And I always try to find ways to speak to those teens and to post that directly to them. Like, hey, I saw in your application you're really interested in sports or soccer. This just came across my desk. I'd love for you to take a look at it. That kind of thing. So we get different opportunities every day, and so it changes every day. And we've had the opportunity to partner with all kinds of local organizations that are looking for teen volunteers and looking for that assistance. And so we post all of that in our emails. And then it's up to the teen to make that connection. We just provide the information because we really go about them doing it and them gaining that ownership and the responsibility of their service history. And we just want to be in the background to help them document it, further it, and help them with scholarship resources.
So how can a student get connected to Manateens?
Well, they can go to our website. They can download our application right from our website. We are 8 to 21 years old, so anybody in our community can be a member. We have family volunteers and adult volunteers as well. We don't charge a fee to be a member, and we certainly don't make any of our service mandatory. So if you join now and you don't do anything for a while, that's okay. We'll find something that'll get you involved, and that's what makes it fun for us. And so that's the easiest way. It's a simple application. The most important part is an email address. And the reason I use email is because if I print out a newsletter and send it to the home, I might have 60 new opportunities that weren't posted in that newsletter. So it's my way of keeping up to date and communicating as to the minute of everything that we have coming up, because we get calls sometimes that, I might get a call today that needs 60 volunteers on Saturday, and I'm going to post that in my emails right away and help Manateens get that connection.
I found your website very helpful. And what I liked about it is it really kind of broadened my understanding of the different opportunities that were out there. You mentioned 5 streams. Well, in each one of those streams, you list 3 or 4 or 5 or maybe 10 or 15 different types of opportunities that that have happened in the past, that are happening present, or may happen in the future. So it really gets people thinking about how do they want to tailor their community service interests to their interests and passions.
Yeah. And everything on our website is completely, the things that you're seeing listed on our website under our streams of service are things that teens have locally started. Manateens have come to us with a need or something they want to identify, and they've addressed it through a project. And those are those projects I was talking about that our volunteer center hosts. Some need, all of them evolve and they change, and we get new ideas every day. Teens call us and, I really got this thing on my mind. What can we do about this in our community? And that is what the Volunteer Center can assist with. So we don't post our current volunteering opportunities, date, place, time, contact, because they change so often. But it's very easy to get on our email list. And we're about making sure, the volunteer, the teen is our client, and we want to make sure that they are getting as much information as possible, maybe sometimes too much. Mm-hmm. So that's what's so important, is getting them volunteering opportunities that tricks them into getting that number that they might be looking for, but really having them become an advocate for their community mm-hmm. and for what they're passionate about.
I think there's so much about community service that strengthens a person's spirit and resolve in life. You have to step outside your comfort zone. You have to introduce yourself. You have to be in a different environment and learn a different system, because many times you're engaging in an organization that already has a set protocol that you need to learn. I know, Rachel, with your work, you have transformed yourself from a high school to the college setting, university mm-hmm. setting. And you're engaged now in your 1 in a Million.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about how that works at university.
Well, at the university level, what you have are student organizations, and it really helps you locate your passion, something very specific, where you join an organization where, for instance, ours is directed at raising awareness for little-known genetic diseases and raising funds for research, and sometimes a local family if we find one. But what's really special about it on the university level is that you find the organization you love, or you find one maybe you just like a little bit, and you join it and you start participating in their different activities, raising funds, going to meetings, meeting people, and you really learn what it is that you want to do with the rest of your life. It was a completely different experience than I was expecting compared to high school volunteering, where yes, I gained a passion for helping people. But at the university level, I really found out that I would love to help people medically and help them in this specific way. Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of people find through their volunteering in the college.
Sounds similar to, in a sense, an internship opportunity.
It
puts you in an environment where you're working with other professionals and you have mm-hmm. an idea of how this might transform itself into a field, profession, a career. And I think the opportunity for recommendations and references is really very helpful and a leg up, not just for careers later in life, but I think that for that transition from high school to college. I know that you were an award winner for the
Golden Herald. I won in the science category my year.
And increasingly, I think scholarships across the country, both locally and nationally, are looking not only for strong students mm-hmm. and people who are taking care of business, so to speak, in the classroom, but are going beyond that border and into ways to contribute to a larger audience. And tell us a little bit about your experience in your application for which category?
Science. I was in the science category, and one thing I remember with the interview process, they really wanted to know about my experience, not just I did this here, here, and here, and I gained this many hours. They really wanted to know what I'd gained from it personally and what I could tell the rest of the world I had contributed to the event we were holding. And it was a new type of interview for me outside like the typical job interview. And you learn different skills. You got to talk about the skills that you learned from the activities and things that you can apply to the rest of your life. One of the biggest things I learned was humility in all the things I did. And I feel like that's a very important lesson that I was able to carry with me into the interview process that obviously I think the judges recognized, and so they decided to give me the award.
Mm-hmm. I think there are many scholarship opportunities out there for students, and certainly sports for students who are a specialty in a sport field. I know that in intercollegiate sports they're often looking for not only strong students but that scholar athlete. Well, they're also looking for strong leadership and looking for students who are willing and have been successful in contributing in some way outside the classroom. And community service is one of the best ways to do that. And now with this increasing requirement, I think more and more of our students are going to be looking for opportunities, and I think having Manateens here locally, there are a wealth of other organizations that are here. Habitat for Humanity is a well-known nationally and international organization. The Key Club is available at most high schools, which is a community service component, sponsored, I think, by the Kiwanis Club. And the Kiwanis is very, very active here. The Manatee Community Foundation offers, that is an organization that represents a lot of nonprofits in our area, and many scholarship opportunities are posted on their website. So there's lots of great places to go. I think Manateens is I think a large number of our high school students here in Manatee County utilize that as a place to get connected. And so it's been really a wonderful resource that, Laura, that you and your family have been involved in.
Thank you.
We have just about a minute, but I'd love to give you an opportunity to maybe offer any tips that you might have for those watching about what, getting involved.
For me, my biggest tip is to not wait till last minute, to get involved right away, even at a young age, middle school age. High school age is important, but the younger you get involved, the more committed you can be to an opportunity. And through Manateens, we want to be that extra resource to teens. So we encourage them to be involved in all of the school civic clubs, local civic clubs, scouts, through their church, to find all different ways to eat up everything you can find and to try it, to get involved and to identify that passion. So to not look at service as something scary or something you have to do as an obligation, but to look at it with enthusiasm and really getting involved into it and not being afraid of that.
Exactly. I would say the same thing. Start early. Take every opportunity given to you. You never know what you're going to learn, who you're going to meet, and it's going to influence you for the rest of your life. You may not realize it at first, but then as you go along, you'll see how much an impact it has, not only on yourself, but on the community around you.
Well, thank you both for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
There are some great opportunities here in Manatee and Sarasota County. I know I spoke with Manatee Memorial Hospital, and they have a wonderful and very well developed a volunteer program. And early is the key there, because you have to apply by the spring in order to get involved, and then it carries on for the full year. So spring is the time to hop on board. So looking ahead and keeping in touch, and I think that that it will enrich not only the community, but I think each individual who takes time to commit some opportunities to the community. A college education is the largest investment a person ever makes in themselves. Future programs in this series will cover tips for preparing for college, financing a college education, staying on track with the college application process for juniors and seniors, and the ever-changing state of college admissions. I'm Robin Groelle, and on behalf of today's guests and METV, thank you for watching.